I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item of the agenda is approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Allison.
Second.
Second by Josh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 3, approval of the minutes from the July 14th meeting. Any questions, comments, changes? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Allison,
Second.
second by Josh. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Approval of the treasurer's report. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Allison,
Second.
second by Josh. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Approval of the invoices. Mr. Murphy, is there anything in particular you would like to draw our attention to?
Yes, so we do have a couple of big ticket items on there. Our graduation alliance billable credits for June's on there at $144,000. And then we do have our ACM and Paradigm for our ceiling tile project. It was another big ticket item. Winds Interiors for our flooring at the elementary school. And then our piping for Kermer Electric here at the high school, middle school. So those were a few of the big ticket items on our invoices. And just to be clear, those capital items that are on there were already out of last year's capital outlay budget, so not this year's.
Yeah, whenever you see an X in that number, the account number, if there's an X in it, that means it came out of last year's budget, just so you kind of know. So as you go through the account numbers, you can see an X through there, so that comes out of last year.
On that huddle one, is that gonna be all sports all year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what, I saw that and I had a question too. We're not paying for NFHS anymore, are
We are not.
That's-
And on that same topic, we have a camera coming for the football field. It's a Hubble camera, just like the one we have in the gym. It's a little better setup with not so many wires running through our press box. So.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the invoices as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Allison,
Second.
second by Josh. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. The reconciliation and cash balances report is on there for you to review.
Again, I don't have the budget summary of funds because the budget's not yet been approved until after the hearing in September. So once that gets approved, then I will enter all the budget numbers and then we'll get you that other report that usually goes with this one. But the cash balance matched.
Recognition of visitors.
There was no public forum.
Administrative reports. Just might as well fill Jane's shoes and go first too.
Okay, so our August board report here, I had included our student enrollment for this year. We're sitting at 236. And unfortunately, we had to turn away 2 students because they were in capped classes there. Tomorrow, we are having an all-staff ice cream social and pool party in the park. Hopefully, we have lots of participants coming and getting involved. August 13th, which is Wednesday, I will meet with our new teachers. We have 3 new ones in our building. Then August 14th is our back-to-school meeting with Mr. Murphy and Diane. I know we have some other things on the agenda too, as far as some new technology stuff, so there will be other things. Friday in the morning, we're going to have an autism training from Kim Speck. She is our behavior consultant out of Salina. Right now, we have all of the CPES staff. We have 4 from the high school that are coming over to attend that. I know Wilson, I know that right now it's optional for them to come, so I'm not sure how many we'll have from their building. The 18th is our meet and greet, which is Monday night. We're going to start at 6:30 with our Title I meeting. Then our parents will come at 7 to 8, and then there'll also be a band instrument display at that time. We start school on the 19th, and then the 20th is when our preschoolers come in, and then we're rolling. All of the teachers have been in the building. Our building's coming together quite nicely, so it's exciting to see everybody there. I'm ready for the kids to get there too. It's kind of quiet right now, but I know in a couple weeks it will not be quiet. So that's all I have at this time. Do you have any questions?
Finished concrete pad?
Yes, we did finish the concrete pad. It looks great.
Basketball goals up as well.
Both basketball goals are up. They reset one of the basketball goals because it was to the side a little bit. And then with the big rain last night, we had quite a lake. So hopefully we can get somebody to come in and look at the drainage there. It's something that as time goes, we might need to do a little bit something different there. But eventually I think the PTO would like to come in and put some football goals and soccer goals in there too. So that'll be a nice addition to the playground. But yes, it's looking very nice out there. It's pretty exciting. And the kids will be excited to come back. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I guess good evening, everyone. How are you today? Our calendar is going to be a busy summer up at Wilson with all kinds of things going on. We do have 2 candidates that we'll be voting on later on for our daycare, so we're excited about that, as well as a couple of substitutes. We're really thankful for the director that has come on board to help us with that. So we had a Wilson daycare meeting on the 7th, and we did some approvals for that, which you'll see. The 13th is, of course, the first day for all staff. The 14th is district in service. The 15th will be teacher work day. Teachers can come up down to Hollywood if they want to go to the training. On the 18th, we'll have a parent-teacher student meet and greet with the watermelon feed. On the 19th will be our first half day. Then we're going to meet again on the 28th for the Wilson Daycare Council to meet again to discuss where we're at and kind of see. We're projecting to want to open the daycare on the 2nd. I put the 9th, that's not correct. It's the 2nd is the projected date. That's really going to be dependent on if we can get the carpeting and some other things done. We have all the AC units have been installed. We have new carpet in the pre-K room, which is really pretty. We have new flooring in the boys' restroom. I won't tell you that's pretty. It just looks nice. And the library's been moved to a temporary location. As of right now, our numbers look pretty good. With current enrollment, we're sitting around 61, 62. With 8 in pre-K, I've got a list that we're keeping track of. People just haven't come in to do the registration yet. There's about 7 on that list. And we have a couple that we're working with. We have a meeting tomorrow, and then we have one that the state has called. They're thinking to place near Wilson. So we'll kind of see. That takes a little bit, but that would be for later. And then we'll talk about the preschool recommendation. We are asking the board to approve for us to go from a half day for 4-year-olds to a full day and leave 3-year-olds for a half day. And the purpose of this is just to strengthen their early childhood education opportunities for them, but also it opens up opportunities for the daycare as well, because that kind of helps with numbers in there too as well. So that helps with that. So they would be full daycare or full preschool. Half day would be for the 3-year-olds. And then I'll just let you read the rationale behind it and the equity of access and all of those different things. Teresa's here. I asked her to come down in case you guys did have any questions about it. She's here to answer those. She's a lead preschool teacher with us. So went through that kind of fast. Do you have any questions?
We have that as its own agenda item.
All right.
numbers for you for what we have currently enrolled. We are just right about even as where we were at last year at this time. Well, I guess last year as we ended the year. I have 151 in the building and then 153. We have a couple that are on enrolled but don't attend because they receive special education services, but they don't come. Mr. Murphy asked me to give you a list of some classes that are new this year. I went ahead and printed you a schedule too, just in case you wanted to kind of take a look at kind of how things go together if you don't have a kiddo that is in school right now. But this is just what we use for our classes for the kiddos. But I'm kind of excited about some of the new classes that we are offering. One of them is drama forensics. We have about 7 or 8 kids in that class right now that are excited. They won't have to do that outside of class. They'll get to actually do that for a class period, which I think is really cool. While we have offered foods classes in the past, they were not in line with our CTE offerings. So I went in and I spent a lot of time in our KCCMS, which is our course system management at the state level, cleaning that up. And so we'll offer a culinary essentials and food science class, as well as a nutrition and wellness and human growth and development, which will help our CTE enrollment numbers and offerings within that program. The same thing with the welding. All of it was kind of clumped as like ag power and ag structures or something like that. So Courtney and I sat down and we decided what we needed that to look like. So now we have a welding 1, 2, and 3 within one class period, and we can nest those is what the state calls it, which will be better for our students because they won't just get one class. They'll have the opportunity to get 3 classes within 3 years on their transcript instead of 1. It helps us too in the long run. We're also offering a drafting and CAD class. And then because Ms. Schlesinger is certified, we can offer a transition to college algebra and college algebra class for credit. So I'm excited about those new offerings. Like I mentioned, I cleaned up the KCCMS, and this should actually generate more money for us with our CTE funds. We get half funding for each of those hours. So Mr. Murphy and I kind of looked at it. We're hoping that we could generate close to like $12,000 extra just by having the right course numbers in our system. So I'm kind of excited to see where that kind of shakes down. In the future, we'll need to add a speech class and a financial literacy class for next year. Those are for this current sophomores have new graduation requirements, so we'll have to have that. And we'll need to define post-secondary successes for our district. So my plan is to have our faculty just kind of sit down and come up with what those look like so that they can present those to you. Those could look like things like the ACT that we're already offering. It could be going and doing a job shadowing. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of options. But I think as a district, we need to really define what those look like so the kids have like a menu to choose from so it's not so overwhelming. Not that they can't choose something else, but I feel like we need to have a list, so it makes it a little easy. And we have to chart all that and have it for every kid, so I think it would be best if we had options there. So, as we tour around this evening, we will look at the gym floors that just got refinished. We'll look at some classroom space. I skipped over CTE Consortium. We did join a consortium with us, Russell, La Crosse, Otis Bison. I'm kind of excited about this because it kind of cuts out some middleman, and it takes $20,000 basically every 4 years, and it gives it to one of the schools for us to buy equipment for just CTE programs. That's a lot of money. We used to have like $5,000. You can't really do it for $5,000 with equipment. So I'm excited because it'll give us some really good options. This year we went ahead and just split between the schools. Some of the schools didn't put anything down. I put everything down. So we're getting a lot of stuff. I'm pretty excited about it. One of them is a new camera for the yearbook program. We got all new pots and pans coming for the fax room. We ordered these virtual reality goggles. You can go inside the human body. So lots of toys. I don't know if we got it all, but I'm excited to see what we got. I put technology on there because I feel like we are doing a pretty good job of keeping up with our technology. Our kids all have a Chromebook. We have lots of options for teachers in the classroom, so I'm pretty happy with that. I added some information from Keisha just to kind of keep you guys in the loop. And just my athletics report. We consistently had 60 kids at least in the weight room all summer. That is pretty incredible for a school that kids have to travel from, so I was excited to see that. And they were there every day. Really, really cool to see that. Even though the gym was a mess, or not the gym, but the school was a mess, the kids they were still here. They are excited that there's air conditioning in the gym. Now they just want it colder. Every time I go in there, I'm like, it's not cold enough. Look at like 100 degrees in here last year. So some things from Keisha. By the year 2027, the 1A schools have to institute the shot clock. Right now in our league, Ellenwood is the only one that is using that, but we will, Pat told me, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the other school that is going to be using it that we will see this year. Maybe Smoky Valley, but I can't remember. But our coaches would like to move to it next year. To offset some of that, the state is saying that we can waive the participation for basketball for 3 years to offset the cost of that. The calendar committee at Keisha is considering bumping practices up a week, so fall sports would start this week, and buffer week would be up a week, and then winter sports would start a week early. I don't know if those of you that have kids in, spring sports really overlap. It gets pretty crazy with your overlapping. Basketball coaches don't even get done before the spring sports have they've already started their league. So we should be getting a wet bulb for the junior high. We asked for one last year because we don't have anything here, and since we don't practice here, we have to take the wet bulb to Bushton, back and forth to make sure that it's safe to practice. So we asked Keisha to send us one. They're supposed to be sending us one. We do have to practice the emergency action plan with all of our AEDs and CPR. We actually have to practice it with the teams during a practice this year. They changed the state volleyball format to 3 days. So the first 2 days won't be at the state site. There'll be a random group of teams. So it could be 1A, 3A, 4A, and 5A all play in the same site, and then they go to state on Saturday. So it'll be a different format this year for volleyball. Basketball should be the same with the changes that they made last year. The CPL will host that league basketball tournament this year. It'll be in Kinsley. There is a tremendous referee shortage for varsity football. Our homecoming game is going to have to be played probably, we're hoping right now it'll be on Saturday, October 4th, because there are no referees. And if I go on right now, we have 2 games that have full referee schedules. So hoping that those get filled, but most of them have 1 referee signed up right now. So a little concerning. But anyway, do you guys have any questions for me? Okay, sorry, that's okay.
Okay. Item number 9, the Hall of Fame Committee.
Okay, so we need to appoint a couple board members to serve on the Hall of Fame Committee. Last year, Tamara and Chad served on the committee, so I don't know if they're interested in continuing that, or if we need to search for another couple of members.
Any nominations? Motion?
It's just an appointment.
Just an appointment. Okay.
I'll just note in the minutes the board appoints. You two.
So item number 10, the building needs assessment.
Okay, so the building needs assessment is on the board documents for you guys to look over. It's a lot like it did last year, except just some changes from last year to this year in the format. So when we do our budget hearing next month, we'll need to refer back to this. Now, one thing I do want to keep in mind is the State Board of Education is supposed to be meeting here really soon to give us the cut scores on the state assessments for last year. So we still do not have scores for state assessment tests that were taken last year. So We're gonna need those cut scores, and I'm hoping they have that done so we can fill those state assessment scores in there once they are released by the state board. So we're hoping that happens sooner rather than later. But when we get to our board meeting in September, before we approve the budget, we will need to go over these. I wanted you guys to be able to take a look at them and look through them before we went over them in detail.
Item number 11, the cardiac emergency response.
Okay, so as a result of recent legislation, each school district in the state of Kansas must develop a cardiac emergency response plan. Ours is attached. It's been reviewed and accepted by KSDE. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to look at that cardiac emergency response plan. Whenever we do our building in services, our principals will go over those with our faculty and staff. That way, if we ever have a cardiac emergency, we know how we were going to respond to it in each building. So that is on our board document for you guys to look at as well.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve the cardiac emergency plan for USD 412.
Motion by Caleb. Second. Second by Allison. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 12, the high school, middle school ceiling tile.
Okay, so as you can kind of see in the building, the tile project is wrapping up. Brentwood Builders and their 2 workers have been a huge help, but we've also been putting in extra hours up here between our custodial staff and our helpers and our principals, and a little bit of everybody helping put ceiling tile in as well. So our total budget that we paid for this project so far is a little over $93,000. And that was the ceiling tile, the mitigation, everything included. Brentwood Builders is estimating their part of the putting in the new ceiling tile to be around $19,000 right now. So we would like them to be able to stay around and help this week to try to get things finished up. We are working on the fascia pieces. They're working on the fascia pieces in the entryways, and then they're going to start coming down the hallways. As you can see right up here, the fascia pieces are some of the hardest pieces to go in. They have a lot more experience in that than we do. Me and a few of our high school helpers came in last week, and we cut in all the ceiling tile here in the cafeteria as well, except some of the hard cuts up there that we messed a few tile up before we thought we would have our Brentwood Builders guys do it. So we'll kind of see the extent of this project. It was a big undertaking to get to this point this year. To get this done just in one summer has been, even to the point we're at right now, especially with having the 2 weeks delay kind of thrown at us from the extra tile put up on top of the ceiling. So been a huge undertaking, but without our Kevin and Daryl from Brentwood Builders, we would not be where we're at right now. So
I will just remind everybody too that this whole project came in at a lot lower budget than we were originally estimating that it would be. So I think for all the staff and all the work that they've done this summer, having a little extra help around to finish it up is definitely worthwhile.
I move to approve Brentwood Builders completing the emergency installation of the ceiling tiles at the middle school and high school.
Motion by Allison, second by Chad. Any further questions, comments, discussion?
can I add a comment?
Yes.
So the $93,000 was out of last year's budget for capital outlay, so that won't come out of this year's. The estimate for Brentwood Builders would be out of this year's budget. So.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay, there is a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 13, the building complaints.
So our title building at Wilson, we've really been kind of maneuvering through the title process, and there's a few compliance issues that Ms. Moore's been working on as well that we haven't had in the past that we need to make sure we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's. So one of the items, actually two of the items, is the parent compact letters that we need to send out to families that are enrolled in our buildings that offer a building-wide title service, which is what Wilson Elementary School is. So those two documents are on that. 3 documents are on there with the parents' right to know, the pre-K 1 parent, Wilson Parent Compact, and then the 2 through 6th grade Wilson Parent Compact. So to make sure we're meeting the compliance part of our title services, we need to make sure we get those sent out to our constituents at Wilson that are enrolled, whether we don't just have to be from Wilson that are enrolled in the school.
And the Jeffrey's parent building wide. Second.
Motion by Kayla and a second by Allison. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. The preliminary budget publishing.
So we completed our budget review meeting in Topeka and everything went really well. We did attach our Code 99 document that will be published in the newspaper. Excuse me, we are under the revenue neutral rate this year, so our hope is that we can continue to be under revenue neutral, but we can't guarantee from year to year that we're always going to maintain that revenue neutral rate being lower than what the county gives us. So this year we are though, so the Code 99 budget document is included in the budget documentation on our board, our online board packet for you guys to look over. We'll be publishing this in the paper. The budget hearing will be at 6 o'clock on September 8th, and then the Board of Education meeting will follow that at 6:10. So on the Code 99, I did want to turn your attention to a couple of items. If you look down on the second column where it says Code 99 line and go down to 16, that's our capital outlay fund. And you can see what we spent in 2023, 24, and then you can see what we spent last year. And you're going to see that budget number quite a bit bigger than what it has been in the past for our actual expenditures. And again, what we're doing with that number is giving you guys the authority to spend that money if you guys so choose. Doesn't mean we're going to spend $1.9 million or we have $1.9 million. What it means is you guys have the authority to spend that if we need to spend that for something. So that's one of the items I did want to turn your attention to on that document. So. If you look down on the exceeding revenue neutral rate at the bottom, it has us for our total taxes levied, excluding the general fund, at 18.467, and our number that we were given from the county was 18.482. So pretty close to it, but not over it yet. And the same thing, you can look at our including the general fund right above that. So we hope in the future we can remain under the revenue neutral rate, but we can't guarantee that from year to year. No actions necessary. I just wanted to have that on there so you guys could take a look at it and either ask questions now or email questions if you see anything looking at that before we publish it in the paper here pretty quickly after.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, on to item number 15, the KASB policy updates.
Okay, so we had first reads last month, and I'm going to take a little bit of time and go through these. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask, and if I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer from KASB. So there's quite a few on here. Looking down through here, the BBC board committee is any subcommittee or subordinate group that's created by a public body, which would be you guys as a Board of Education, is subject to COMA. So we've talked a little bit about that in the past, about how that's going to look moving forward with any subcommittees that are formed by you guys as a board. So they're going to be subject to that same KOMA. Kansas Open Meeting. The next one, the CN Public Records, focuses on what fees are charged with providing information under CORA, which is the Kansas Open Records Act. So that goes with the charges that we charge people whenever they want records. The next one, the DFE investment of funds. This House Bill 2152 changes the law regarding what financial investment options are available to governmental units. If a bank, savings, or loan associations or savings bank has a good faith reason to believe that a governmental unit has not acted in compliance, they may file a complaint with the state treasurer in writing. So there is that one that's revised. In the DFH fundraising activities, just add some language clarifying that students and employees cannot promote personal, business, commercial, or private financial interest through direct sales or promotion of sale of goods or services at school, on school property, or at school-sponsored events. The GAACB employee whistleblower is a little bit of a change. We just have to make sure that we have this posted where employees can see it in the teacher's lounge. So we'll make sure that we get those posted before the first of the year. The IB School Site Council. Appointments to councils can be made as strict administratively without board involvement. So this one's just a little bit different when they're talking about site council approval. So in the past, we have had site council approval. If we do that, that's a government body that you guys had created, and they would fall under the same Open Meetings Act as well. So what they're wanting to do is make those administratively between administrators in the district without board involvement, but we can still make sure that you guys are up to par and know what's going on with those site councils. The next one, JBC enrollment regarding military students. And then the JBCD enrollment of military students is a policy that provides advanced enrollment of military students whose parents or persons acting as a parent will be stationed in that state in the succeeding school year. Supervision of medicines puts restrictions in place on use of state funds, the provisions of healthcare and related services, and the dispensing of certain medication to minors commonly used with gender transitioning. Junior high student activities, Senate Bill 114 focuses on homeschool, virtual school, and non-public school participation in school-related activities. This policy was revised to reflect those changes in law. The KBC media relations, if you elect to live stream your board meetings, the whole of the meeting is to be made available through the medium that you're producing the live stream from. Please note that live streaming board meetings still is not a legal requirement. You don't have to do that. But if you stream any part of the board meeting, you got to stream the whole thing. So. KGB concealed observations. Persons, boards may legally record or live stream the open portions of board meetings. The KM visitors to school. Language was added to the visitors of the school policy as a result, stating that off-duty law enforcement officers identifying themselves as such upon entry into a district building cannot be requested or required to provide or record personal information such as their email, home, phone number, home address. KM complaints, just a little minor tweak that was made to give the board flexibility to determine whether each and every complaint made against the superintendent must be investigated. So again, those were first views last month. It's kind of a real quick synopsis of each one of them. As you're going through the document, you're also going to see the second one on there, some of the public records. The board designates the superintendent or the assignee is the Freedom of Information Officer, and then the clerk is the one to handle requests for records. And then down a little bit more, see in public records, the clerk is designated as the official custodian of all board and district office records maintained by the district. Each building principal is designated as the official custodian of all records maintained at the building level. So just a few little wording changes there. And then we talked about the whistleblower policy where the copies of that have to be in each school. in a location where it can reasonably be seen. And then part-time students, other than those specified previously in this policy, may enroll with the administrator's permission if they complete all the paperwork in a timely fashion or in attendance no later than September 1st. Such part-time students may be admitted only to the extent the staff, faculty, equipment, and supplies are available, and students follow the district student conduct policy and rules. So that goes for the part-time students. So just a few little wording changes on those as well.
Questions over any specific policy or in general? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the updated KASB policies as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Allison, second by Josh. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 16, the district enrollment update.
Just want to give you guys a chance to kind of study the enrollment numbers at each building. We have Central Plains Elementary School on there broken down in single teacher classes as well. So I'll let you guys kind of take a look at that. Total 236 with pre-K, and without pre-K 184. Wilson Elementary's breakdowns on there as well, with pre-K 69, without pre-K 61. And then Central Plains Middle School, High School, you see their breakdown with the total in buildings and the total enrollment numbers that we have as of right now. And just to be really clear, these numbers are enrollment numbers. There's a lot of things that can change the first day of school on who shows up or who doesn't show up. So again, these are the ones that are currently enrolled as of now, but that can change when day one rolls around as well. So.
Any questions regarding the enrollment numbers? Okay. Item number 17, the Wilson all-day preschool.
So we talked about this a little bit last year. Teresa and Ms. Moore visited with me a couple times about the opportunity to try to offer some sort of an all-day preschool at Wilson with at least our 4-year-olds. We talked a little bit about their 3-year-olds last year as well. We talked about the pros and the cons, and we really felt like there were a lot more pros to it than cons, especially when you talk about opening up daycare spots. Depending on the direction we move with the daycare when we talk about it here in just a little bit. But I really think it could be a good thing, and maybe bring in more kids as well, especially preparing those 4-year-olds to move to kindergarten, a full-time kindergarten student as well. So the only concern I have is, and Ms. Moore and Teresa, you guys can help me with this a little bit, is if we have a 4-year-old that their parents are not interested in the full day side of it, will they still have the option to go half day?
Yes, I'd have to rearrange to try to make sure that they get all of the stuff, because I have math scheduled for afternoon, so I'll have to figure out how to work that out. But.
And I don't know that we will. I was just kind of brainstorming in my mind, pros and cons as well. So that was something that I thought of. So
Nobody would be turned away. We would make sure that they got what they needed.
And I know with the 3-year-olds, a lot of our parents want the 3-year-olds in the morning. So this would be, I think, a bigger draw for those 3-year-olds to enroll, because it would be in the mornings.
Right. Do you think a lot of those 3-year-olds will have daycare services at Wilson if we were able to offer those?
There's 1 or 2 that I know have been looking for daycare. So if there was an open position in there, I think they would be more likely to come our way, because then they'd be covered all day.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't have to worry about coming in and picking them up to take them to a different sitter. So,
The other really cool thing is all of the staff that, like PE and music and art, are really excited about this, and they've been willing to offer classes to those 4-year-olds. So they're going to get that as an extra benefit to this, that sometimes they wouldn't get. And so they'll be able to actually go to art, they'll be able to go to PE, they'll be able to go to music class a couple times a week.
I think it could also be very interesting to see the types of games that are made between, you know, all-day four-year-olds going into kindergarten as well, and seeing where they're at going into kindergarten, their kindergarten year as well, to see, you know, if that's something we want to look at district-wide, you know, rather than just a building too. I think it'd be a good kind of baseline to see how these kids are doing, if that's what we wanted to do. So.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You were talking about the 3-year-olds being able to possibly go to daycare. Are we gonna have a spot for them, or are we too full, or where are we looking at that? Because, you know, I'd hate to lose a 3-year-old just because we don't have daycare space too.
They would get priority after staff.
Okay.
So Teresa, do you do like the third and fourth combined in the morning all week, or do you separate them?
Sorry, the air conditioner is right above my head. I'm sitting here shivering and I can't hear anything.
I'd ask Teresa if like,
Okay.
so do you do the 3 and 4 year olds will be together in the morning?
Yes.
And you separate them?
Right.
Or I guess they go home and.
They'll have art in the morning, the 4-year-olds will. And during that time when they have art, I'll have the 3-year-olds by themselves. So how I have it planned is the 3-year-olds will pretty much be together unless we're in a large group. And I'll swap them out and want to play with centers, and I'll work with the 3-year-olds on the targeted material and then switch them. So I have the 4-year-olds. So they'll all get their own individual time, but it'll just.
Is it Monday through
swap.
Friday?
Yep. I think that for social and emotional especially, it's going to be huge for them, because I just heard a parent the other day come in and said their kindergartner coming in is scared because he's had me for the last 2 years, but doesn't know anybody else in the building. So I think that is going to be a huge plus for those kids, because they'll have PE and music and art, and they'll be able to see other people in the building instead of just me all the time. So.
And we do have plans like going to the pumpkin patch and going to some of the farms around and just really take farm to table. Just a lot of different things that help those kids experience what school is, but at their ability and interest level.
I really see a lot more upside than downside to this. I would recommend us looking at moving forward with all-day 4-year-old pre-K. We do, yes, sir.
I'll motion to approve going to an all-day preschool for our 4-year-olds at Wilson Elementary School.
Second. So a motion by Kayla and a second by Allison. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 18, the modular units at Plains Elementary School.
Okay, so we put in a lot of work on this, and it's kind of to the point where we need to kind of make some decisions on what we want to do to address the overcrowding at Central Plains Elementary School. So we did have to turn 2 students away this past week, a 5th grader and a 2nd grader, because we only have 1 class, 1 teacher with each one of them, and they are at their max for those buildings. We did get a couple of more 6th graders in, and we had to move some classrooms around where the 6th grade with their 1 teacher had to go to one of the bigger rooms, because I believe they had 24. So I taught 6th grade for many years at a 3A school, and the most I had in a really big classroom was 17 6th graders, and that was a lot of 6th graders. So you know, we're to the point right now where with the price tag that the modular unit, we are going to have to solicit bids. We are going to have to seek 3 comparable bids, sealed envelopes, require times and dates to be open, if that's what the board so chooses. I did include the document on there from Box Modular. Also, the concrete plumbing, the electrical, the gas, the dirt work we're still working on that one. We would need to break each one of these down into their own category and try to get 3 bids on each. That one's important, but it's not as important as getting the bids out and soliciting those bids for the actual modular unit itself. A few things that I do want to keep in mind. Number one, we would have to furnish the building once it was there. So if we didn't have items around the district, we would have to use funds to be able to desks, items like that in the classroom. So something to keep in mind as well. The fire alarm system would have to be installed in there in coordination with the main building and some of the wiring for the internet. One thing to keep in mind on this too is, if we do have that space and we do split some classrooms, that's going to mean addition of teacher salaries to our budget as well. If we have to split the 6th grade class into 2, we're going to have another salary included in that as well. And then also, in those lower grades, if we have to when we split those out as well, we're going to have to encumber some higher salaries as well. So on the document, my computer went to sleep, I'm sorry guys. On the document that I included on was kind of a rough sketch for the modular unit CPES breakdown. You're looking at Scott Christian's Constructions shot us the concrete work for the unit to be set down a little over 60,000. But again, we're going to have to get 3 bids on that concrete work. We're not going to be able just to go with them if that's the direction we so choose. Kermer Electric shot us some information on gas, electric, water, sewer. That's today's prices, and that's depending on Kansas Gas setting a meter at the corner. And then you see the price of the modular building with the cover over the walkway. And when I talked to Lee last time, he said we would be able to enclose one side of that. So I don't remember who brought it up, if we could enclose one side of that walkway where it would kind of shelter them from the wind a little bit. So we would also have, if we decided to solicit those bids, we would also have a breakdown on the financing options. And you can see the 2-year term, the 3-year term, and the 4-year term that Box Modular itself would finance us for. They said they also could put the price of concrete work, gas, water, sewer, and finance that as well. I don't think we're in a position we need them to do that. I think if this is what we decide to do, I think we can handle that with our capital outlay budget. So just need to open that discussion for you guys to discuss what direction you want to go. I do want to keep in mind that our 6th grade class right now is 24, and our pre-K 4 class is 26 coming up. 5th grade class is the biggest one. So, just looking at those numbers right now, there's going to be a point that those numbers are up in the high school as well. So it's not going to be a one thing fix all type thing, but we're really going to have to address this because it's really hard to turn students away from the school building. So I just wanted to open it up for comments, concerns, questions. When I talked to Lee, he said if he had the board directed that made a motion in October, they could still have the building here by the end of June if that's what they went with, or sorry, by the start of June if that's what you guys decided to do. But if we get into some of these other modular companies, we might find something that's a little bit different than we like. We just don't know what that's going to look like. We'll try to get it as close to building material as we can. But on that same note, we might send, if you guys want to, we might send a lot of bids out. We might not get any back either besides them. I don't know. So anyway, I just want to open the floor up for you guys to visit about that.
I guess I just want to clarify too, just for anybody watching or anything like that. So the teachers' salaries, that would be out of the general budget, the general fund. But the rest of this project is gonna be out of capital. And probably with the timing of it, we could split some of those initial costs up too out of this year's budget and next year's budget. So we can kind of spread that all out a little bit too, and it's not just gonna be all one big huge thing, one big huge hit on one year's budget.
So adding to that, Tamara, my hope would be that we would be able to move forward with using the capital outlay budget, if you guys so choose, for the groundwork to get the building there, and then also the down payment this year. And then next year, July 1st, for next year's budget would be the first payment that would come out. So.
Questions, comments, thoughts? I mean, I feel like we've put a lot of time and energy into it this far, and we really kind of need to get rolling on it because we're having to turn kids away, and that's never a good thing.
I don't remember, have we ever looked at just adding to the building instead of doing a box modules?
So whenever I went, and I can't remember the numbers, Josh, whenever I went and toured the box modular at Atwood,
Yeah.
I can't remember the price that they were building their new school at per square foot. And it was very expensive. Now, again, that's what they went with. That doesn't necessarily mean what we would have to go with.
Well, and that's Atwood too.
Right.
Who knows what prices they got
Exactly.
compared to ours. You know, I was just looking at, you know, the cost per square foot of the building, we're looking at $136 a square foot. I'm not saying that we don't spend the money because we really need to, but, and we're kind of short on time too, but.
I was gonna say, I think, at least for houses right now, it's quite a bit higher than that for stick built.
Well,
I know that doesn't necessarily compare.
I know one guy just built a house for 120 a square foot. And that's why I was asking. I didn't know if we looked at that at all, or if somebody came in and said, oh, it'd be more difficult to, you know, but at the same time, you know, do we put a building there? And then, like we talked about having a breezeway, we're gonna have a breezeway anyways, whether it's a box module or, you know, separate building itself.
The one thing that, you know, whenever we were talking about that, Josh, I'm trying to refresh my memory because it seems like a while ago. I'm almost positive that there was something with the fire marshal, and if we used a breezeway, we did not have to fire sprinkle the whole thing.
Right.
So it really wouldn't be.
You can't enclose it.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying an attachment,
Right.
you know, not
A
so
breezeway,
much attached the structure to the building, but have it separate and then a walkway. I should rephrase myself, a walkway instead of a breezeway, because a breezeway is enclosed.
You know, depending on what way you guys wanted to go, we could still solicit bids, and I could still find some of that information out as well for you guys to have that too, if that's what you'd like to do. I just would feel bad shooting you a number, because I don't remember exactly what the superintendent Atwood said, but again, that was Atwood for a new building.
Right.
Burned down, so.
I feel like, I mean, it's good to have as much information as we can, but I also feel like we're on a little bit of a time crunch. And I don't know if we would be able to get stick built done by next school year without having to.
Yeah.
The contractors that we tend to use in the area, it's been a struggle to get them. They've been super busy, so.
And I feel like we've already put quite a bit of time and effort and energy into the box modular, and I feel like that was because when we were talking about it, getting that was a more efficient way to go. So I don't know if it would be beneficial to go back and look that up again or not.
I can include that in my weekly announcements this week. Let me just do a little looking and seeing what it's going for a building that size per square foot. I don't think it'd be hard to get some of that information just to give to you guys.
So right now, without the HVAC, the telephone, internet, the fire alarm, security system, the interior finishing, we're sitting at about 1.4 million.
I thought that included
That
HVAC.
included HVAC.
That does it? Okay, so I wouldn't, okay, so take that off. But still, we're sitting at 1.4 million, a little over. So, I mean, would you estimate this total project 2.5? Once you get all of those other things? Just kind of ballpark figure.
What did you say? What number did you shoot, Kayla?
I said right now, with the numbers that you provided us, we're sitting at 1.4.
Okay.
That's without the interior, the
Furnishings.
security system, fire, all that. So would you think with maybe those added in there, total would be about 2.5 million?
I don't know if I would go that high. I would have a hard time shooting you a guess because I don't know exactly what the fire alarm system, including that in, would look like. I don't think it would be 2.5 at all. I think we'd probably be closer to like maybe 1.6, 1.7. But I'd even hate to shoot you a guess until I was able to get that to the fire marshal to shoot what the wiring would cost. Because we're gonna have to have that is gonna have to be connected to the school itself.
Right.
With the fire alarm system. So, and I don't have enough background in that to even shoot you a number on what that's gonna look like.
But that was also one of the reasons that we didn't go attached, because we don't have to install a sprinkler system, so that is gonna be less than that. I don't know. I have no idea, but I know at COVID, when they had to really strip down their rooms and everything, we put a lot in storage, and I remember after that not everything was even necessarily taken back out of storage, because some of the teachers kind of liked the decluttered a little bit and stuff. So I don't know if we still have any of that in storage that would, help with furnishing expenses or not. My guess is that our PTO and some of our other areas,
We'll just say for
people would help.
conversation speaking at 2 million. We've, estimated high estimated total project. So then we got those big classes coming up into the high school. We're gonna have to spend more money in the next couple of years in high school, I imagine, trying to get it ready.
So we had a couple conversations about that too, and we feel like there's a little bit of movement we can do, and then maybe some office space in the choir room that we can maybe move some walls and look at the possibility of adding some space in there as well. I don't know what that would run, with the spaces, and we can kind of peek in there when we do our walkthrough here in a little bit, Kayla, so you can kind of see what we're talking about down there. But we feel like we can have a little bit of movement, and that you're right, saying that at some point we're going to have to look at more space here too. And whether that's just movement around the school or what that looks like, it's going to be a conversation.
And I think it's worth getting bids, that way at least we know.
Yep. Okay.
So what I'm hearing at this point in time, let's go ahead, Mr. Murphy, if you can, just kind of give us some rough estimates on the price that stick build that, if you can, in your weekly announcements. But then I would also entertain a motion to solicit bids for the modular and setup for Central Plains Elementary School. So moved. Motion by Allison,
Second.
Second by Josh. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 19, the district daycare update.
So I want to give you guys a little bit of an update. So things are going really good at Holyrood and Little Oilers. Everything's going great. Both the ladies are doing awesome. Shondell's been a huge help with getting both daycares up and running and taking that load off the administration. We are working towards the Wilson one. We're going to reopen that under the Little Dragons. We've had a lot of work kind of go in to try to make it as streamlined as possible with both of them, where they're same handbooks, things like that for both sides, just so it's a little bit easier for our faculty and staff as well that are working up there. So a couple items, we do have some bids to get the fencing up. If you guys remember, we already had a plan to get the fencing up. It was supposed to get in the next day, and then we had a couple ladies resign, and we didn't move forward with the fence because we didn't know what the plan was. So we do have that in there. And then we also are going to get we're waiting on a bid to get the room recarpeted. We really feel like moving forward, we're going to have to get that room recarpeted and maybe pass the inspection side of it up there too. So a couple of things that we're working on. I just want to make sure you guys are on board with that. We're hoping later on to get a couple of the employees hired, and then we're looking at September-ish date. I know we've kind of talked about the start of September, maybe the second weekend in September. So really working on that to get that rolling. And I really feel really good about our process right now because we have, Shondell kind of the director over it, and then she's helping the ladies at both places get licensed, certified, offering, all her expertise to both of them. And then if anybody has to be gone at Wilson, it's easy for her to step in and fill in. If anybody's gone at Holyrood, it's easy for her to step in. And then we're starting to get a little bit of a list of people that are interested in subbing in those daycare rooms too. So I feel like our system that we have in place right now is maybe a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier to run. So the one thing, we did not get the Patterson grant this go around. We still have funds put back from the Patterson grant to be able to attack some of these items, and then also help, alleviate the cost from the parents with food, some salaries as well in there. One concern I do have is at the end of this year, we're going to have to reevaluate. I'm going to have to bring you those numbers and let you guys know where we're at to make sure that you guys are on board with what it's taking district-wide to run both of those daycares if we get into the point where, daycare is not a moneymaker. We've said that before, but it's something that we're trying to get to our faculty, staff, and community to help them out as well. So at the end of this year, we'll try to bring those numbers to you guys so you guys kind of have an idea of what it's taken to run those two daycares as well. So do you guys have any concerns or any worries or any thoughts on our daycare in Holyrood or getting our one and Wilson back up? Ms. Moore, have we had a waiting list? Where are we at with our waiting list for Wilson? Do you have any idea on that?
She's working to call those that were there at the time of closure.
Okay.
And then I've had several phone calls, probably 4 phone calls with families just over the last couple of weeks here.
Gotcha.
And so I forward that information on to her. So we've got some interest, definitely. We'll see how many come back, And with the approval of the preschool, that might help us too. I don't know. But there's a lot of positive there, so hopefully.
Okay. Concerns, questions on those two? I do want to talk about the Claflin one a little bit, but I just wanted to see if you guys had any thoughts or questions or concerns on those. Okay, so I do have some concerns on the Claflin one on where we're at right now. So they did not get the Patterson grant either. So basically with our funds that we have put back in their funds, we have about $1.2 million for that project, okay? The price tag still has to come out to 1.5 at the end, and there's no longer a Barton County, ABCC, Advancing Barton County Child Care Director anymore, because Sarah has resigned, and they haven't found anybody to fill her position yet. So Sarah was the one that talked about being able to work all that and make that work, and now we don't have that person there. The communication is stalled a little bit between the crew that did win the bid to build that. They have a lot of items in the fire right now, a lot of irons in the fire like we do too. But time's kind of ticking on that whole thing. And adding to that, they're supposed to run that for 5 years. Okay, and they don't have a director in place right now to get the ball rolling on, even if it was open, running that or the procedures or anything else. So I just have some concerns that I wanted to voice to you guys. It doesn't mean by any means that I think we should abandon everything else. I think it's still something that would be really good for the community and really good for the district and good for the school. I just have some concerns at this point. So.
How much do we have, again, on just our tax credits?
So we did get the other dollars from the Kansas Commerce, so we were right around 450,000 is what we had now.
447.
447. So that's what we have for our side of it. Now that is included in the 1.2 million because they have about 800 and some odd thousand dollars.
Yeah, we just got 198,000 for the return credits that they didn't use. They gave those to us.
So I'm just, things going through my head. I mean, we built the building. There's nobody there to staff it. It just sits empty. We could use it during, when it's not in use during the hours. I mean, we can't move classrooms over to it and we can't run it because part of that grant, they have to run it for 5 years. So I don't know, I have some concerns, guys.
Are they looking at replacing her?
They are,
anytime soon?
they're trying to. They thought they had somebody and it kind of fell through.
So we don't know if it's gonna get replaced tomorrow or 6 months down the road.
Well, the thing about the building is it's got to be, the funds have to be encumbered on their side of it by the end of the year. And actually, I think it was even a little closer, wasn't it? Wasn't it the end of September?
For our tax credits, is there a timeline that those have to be spent?
Not as long as we still have the same plan in place for the tax credits. And our plan is to use it, not to fund the daycare, but to build the daycare in Barton County. And whenever we agreed to the agreement with ABCC, our funds was to be used at the end. We wanted to make sure we had those funds put back in case we decided something fell through and we wanted to still use those to build something.
So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
So where we're at right now is Chris, he's the guy that is kind of the head of the project, working with Brentwood Builders as well. He was in Great Bend a week and a half ago and he got caught up and he was trying to make it up here, didn't make it up here. So we're waiting, a couple emails, a couple text messages, we're waiting on him to get together with us so we can kind of get a plan in place. And it just, I don't know, it just feels like there's something missing because we can get a plan in place, but we need that other person from ABCC to step in and be able to say, I'm going to run it, I'm going to work on it, I'm going to, do all those things that it's going to take to get that building open. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, we're kind of at a wait. We're waiting on Chris, really. So.
Was there, I don't know, what kind of repercussions could come back if they don't follow through with their grant,
Yeah, they would have to give, if they don't do something with the $800,000, they'd have to give that back. I did bring up the question on if we bought, if they did build something and they couldn't make it get to that 1.5 number on their side of it that they have to get to show that that's what they spent. That's going to fall back on them, and I don't know what that would look like on their side.
do you think there's a possibility or anything that the state could come in and take over possession of that building then? And not necessarily let us have it in 5 years, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know the
It
answer.
would depend on the fine print and the paperwork ABCC signed to accept the funds. So unless you see the document they agreed to, I don't think you know.
what the risk is.
I can ask that question though and see what, see what they
I
say.
guess that's one of my primary concerns is that they default. And we have this building, but then have no control over what happens to it or who gets it or.
And we've had some people call and ask, and they want to be put on the waiting list. We had a lady that runs a daycare around that wants to be one that helps run it. Like, I mean, there's some interest there on that side of it. So,
I think there's definitely, I guess I just go back to, would it be better for us to bring in something with our tax credits like the original plan was and not deal with ABCC? I mean, yeah, I hate to turn down almost $1 million,
and when we meet
but if nothing's gonna,
when we meet with Chris and Brentwood Builders, we can ask that. What does $447,000 get us?
At some point, the money may not be worth the price to pay
yeah.
for it. Especially if it costs you having anything at all.
You know, sometimes what they say, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
I'll try to keep you guys updated as events unfold.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to add or?
The only thing that worries me on that is, like you said, if we get it built and they don't have staff to run it, it is gonna be an empty building for possibly 5 years. And then we take it over. I mean, the worst thing on a building is leaving it vacant.
One, if they
And
do.
that's the second part is we can't use it. You know, yeah, we can use it after the hours, for a meeting or whatever, like you said, but very frustrating.
Still be without daycare.
Well,
Because we wouldn't have.
there's a lot of what ifs. We need to find out what that contract says to see, like, what if they say, oh, well, just use it. You know, we can't run it, just use it. We need to find those answers out before we
I don't
start going down the
think they
rabbit
have.
hole.
The thing that we're concerned about is just if it's a grant, they don't have that control. to
Yeah, but
say,
we need to find out who does
Yeah.
and what the answers are to the control.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'll see what I can hunt up on that.
Is there anybody at ABCC you talk to now?
So-
She's not there?
Well, I think Sarah's still trying to help out some. I did email her a list of a name that is interested in working. And I got an email back that said, please forward this to a different email, this abccdirector.com, So it was, I don't know, I kind of felt like I was, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm still here to help, and then, well, needs to go through somewhere else. I understand that if she's resigned, I get that. So I don't have a contact besides Sarah at this point. So.
And I guess the good thing is that our tax credits don't have a timeline, so we can afford to wait it out a little bit longer to see what happens. But yeah, I think we need to try to find some of that.
I think their hope was to break ground in August, Dalton. Isn't that what they said when we met with them? They came out here.
And they got 3 weeks.
I guess before they break ground, we might want to find out some of that fine print on who would gain control of the building, or if there was a possibility that we could take over control sooner.
Okay. I'll see what I can hunt up.
Control sooner would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take your money and build the building and then
Yep.
let us run it.
Maybe possible.
Well, and I wonder if that's a stipulation too. If they can't provide,
Can
are
they,
we allowed?
can they sell it or give it
Yeah.
to somebody who can?
Does Chris have any access to that information?
I don't think so. Last time I talked to him, they were wanting to get a plan together, and was that last week when we talked? And he wasn't able to make it up that day. We tried to communicate, and I've tried to communicate with him. He's just been trying to get schools and things open.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Item number 20, the library repairs at Wilson Elementary.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit just about the foundation issue. So Thrasher came out last week and got us a bid on the foundation around the library exterior wall and a few other places that we have water coming in as well. We attached the document there for you guys to look at. We're in the process of moving certain books. They have most of the books moved over to the rooms that they're going to use for the library to start the year off. To get the library room up and running again, we need to fix the foundation, replace drywall in the areas, replace the bookshelves, and then try to seal up the leaks on the roof. The first step would be the foundation work. The foundation work does have a warranty to it, the way that Thrasher is going to do it, but it just keeps coming back to the roof. And our roofs throughout the district are known to leak. I guess this is the best way to put it, in all the buildings. So the companies that we've talked to throughout this year that have been up at Wilson looking at that part of the building, and none of them are going to give us a warranty on anything that we do. So, the last group we talked to talked about replacing the A brackets and covering them up on the library portion of the roof, and they estimated somewhere between $7,000 to $10,000, but there was no warranty included in that at all. So, we could spend that, and then we can turn around the next day and it could be raining. I was up at Wilson today, and just from the rain we had yesterday, it's coming in under the wall still, in those areas. So the bid that they gave us for that area and a couple other areas as well to try to prevent the leaking was for $18,681.90, which was a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. Whenever you mention foundation, it usually kind of scares you. So I thought that was really comparable. I can seek out a couple other bids try to find a couple other companies that do foundation repair just to see if that's comparable. But that's not only for the library, that's a couple other areas that's getting water in the door as well, to put poly underneath of it to lift it back up to where the water's draining appropriately. So that would be the first step, though, in getting the library kind of up and running, or at least moving in the right direction at Wilson Elementary School. So I want to pass this I included it on there, the yellow document. So there's a document on there that looks like this, that shows the areas that they want to get poly on and work on. You'll see the library area here in these two areas. They're going to put poly underneath to raise them up to where they're supposed to be so it drains appropriately. But they're also going to do some work on this foundation on the outside of it to get it drained and a sub pump in there. That way that it's draining appropriately like it's supposed to. So
They give you a warranty on them?
they do give a warranty on those. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And timeline. Whenever I talked to the gentleman, they thought that they would have the library area done in approximately a day or two, and the whole project would only probably take a couple of days for them to have done. So probably going to be a little bit of carpet work that needs to be done in there too once they get that foundation kind of tore out in that area and fixed. But then once we get that done, then we can start trying to attack the roof a little bit to figure out exactly what the best course forward is on that. My biggest fear is we pay the $7,000 or $10,000 for them to fix it, no warranty. We put the drywall back, the books back, and they've done 2 different water tests on that building, and when they did the water test on them, they couldn't get that building to leak from the ceiling at all. But when it rains, and it rains in a certain direction, it comes in.
The sad thing is they do this concrete jacking. It might change something too.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Josh.
You know, if the structure's already settled in a certain way, they get it back up to level. Who knows? I hate to say it, but it might fix the roof.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So if the board wants to move forward with Thrasher, we just need a motion. If you guys want me to get a couple other comparable bids, I can do that as well. Try to do that as well with a timeline too.
Like you said, I was pleasantly surprised that, yeah, like you say, foundation work and stuff is always like, oh gosh, this is gonna hurt, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, so. I think might as well just move forward with Thrasher. Need a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll motion to approve Thrasher foundation repair for the Wilson Elementary School Library.
I'll second.
Motion by Kayla, second by Josh. Any further questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 21 is our tour.
Okay, Principal Murphy is going to lead us on a tour kind of around the building.
Do we need to take the tablet?
No, I don't think so. When we did it at Wilson, yeah. We did it at Wilson and Central Plains, we did not.
Yeah.
We did not. Yeah, because
The new policy.
the policy says that all work.
What if, can she just do a virtual tour at some point and we upload it and attach it to the meeting?
You know what?
Record it as we go and attach it. I
Yeah.
can just carry it around.
We're not gonna have sound though, but that's okay. You know what? I'll carry it around and follow you guys and we'll do it that way. Okay. Yep, I'm gonna pick the
So take the camera. We're taking a tour, we have to take the camera with the new law.
If we videotape any part of the board,
So you can turn that.
All right.
We won't go down there, but the music room is down, and it connects.
Can we go
Oh,
look at
do
this
you want-
office space down there?
Yeah, we sure can.
Okay.
So this is a space that we have visited about. And we did need to add some classrooms.
You got the lights? Okay.
So during the school day, this room is used for first and second hours. We have band and choir for junior high first hour and band and choir for high school second hour. And she alternates days because we only have her for that amount of time. Because she does teach all of the classes in elementary school. So this is only utilized the first couple hours of the day. We have looked at maybe trying to do something with classrooms here in storage rooms, you know, blocking those off and doing something with classroom down here. That would be an option if we wanted to do that. I think Tim and I did look, we would have to do something with the air conditioning because there's not ventilation in any of that. Lisa does use, Mrs. Kreitz uses this room for her boiler and company. It's all of the extra shirts and stuff are all stored in there, so that we do actually use some of that space, you know, for the storage rooms. And then that room that's right there is where all the instruments are stored when they're not out being cleaned. So, but yeah, these classrooms or these rooms back here are just storage rooms. There's some old stuff in there. So. I didn't bring my key with me, so I don't think those are probably open, but. Yeah, there's some purple in that one.
Thank you, sir.
This is the company, this is not us, this is the company that is. So those of you that came to a program this year, we did have some problems with the bathrooms. And when it was the bathrooms, we had problems with the water line. Kermer has been in here and redone the whole line, so everything is finally back up and running. We skimmed by that room, that's Tim's office, and then there's a shed out to the side that's attached that he keeps all of his stuff in. That's kind of adjusted this. We do have, yes, out of the tennis. And so that was a huge complication because they weren't working, they weren't working during tennis season, so we didn't have any bathrooms. They had to walk all the way down there. We did replace, this is one of the areas we did replace the flooring. This was that tile, and we had Miller's come in and put down this vinyl flooring. And then Mr. Murphy and I picked these inserts up. I don't know if you ever noticed what was here before, but they were like a chain link, awful mat. We do have mats coming that will go over the top. They'll have a boiler design, and then in all three. So this one's easier to see. It's pretty. There's a lot of it. And the athletic one, there's a lot of it. The front entrance is small. Leslie and I painted the walls in here before. It does look good. It just makes the ceiling look not so great. Yes. It takes a very tall ladder.
Thank you, sir.
I know, that's what that's. Then we walked out and we're like, look at these hallways, and we just, but look at how much. So these are junior high lockers. When I first came, Mr. Holmes told me, he said, one thing you never change is the junior high kids need to be opposite the older kids. If you put them by the freshmen and sophomores, they'll pick on them. But the older kids, they don't care. So freshmen and sophomores are down that other hallway, lockers, and then these are junior high right here, and then juniors on this side and seniors on that side. So this will actually be Mr. Potter's room this year. Mr. Potter and Mr. Gonzalez switched rooms. So, I did not realize until we did this big clean out project how many closets these two guys have. They have umpteen.
A lot of closets back there.
When we need storage, we're just gonna come bombard them. Yeah, right? Like, that is the most interesting shaped closet. Yeah, that's what they said. Well, so they have all those, and then there's rooms between here, and so, kind of interesting. So one of the things, when we go in the library and when we were in the cafeteria, I don't know if you noticed, but we did put blinds in those spaces. One thing we'd like to do is get blinds to put in front of the building so that as the person coming up is the blinds.
Did you notice the blinds in the library or the blinds in the cafeteria? Did you notice them? Yeah.
Reading class in there, Mr. Murphy will use this one also. And then our fax classroom is over here. And a nice, huge space for fax. I'm really happy with how much space they have in here. So she has 3 fully working kitchens. And again, we're getting new stuff for CTE, so I'm excited for her to have
It's
all
funny
of
because
that.
I've like figured out.
Space. You guys could probably give a better tour than I can.
Not me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anybody
Mr.
scratching
Gonzalez?
those?
We'll just walk through the library, but all these are just classrooms, so academic hallway. There's 5 classrooms down here, nurse's office, and then conference room. Yes.
The old ITV room, does that get utilized for anything?
It hasn't been because the air conditioning and heating hasn't been working, but Kermer's got it fixed up this year.
Oh, good.
This summer, so it is usable, and we took out, there were so much just stuff.
I was gonna say it was
Like,
storage.
Well, no, and not just that, but there were like cabinets on the wall and cameras everywhere. There was so much stuff in there, it seemed like there was no room. So we got all of that out of there. There's lots of room. So we do use it for Scholars Bowl right now. We could potentially use it for other purposes if we kind of move some things around. And one of those being possibly the conference room or special education room would be another option there. When we do have students that need to have a private space during the day, sometimes we'll utilize that room or this one. So,
That's where all of our Spanish classes were.
yes.
In here?
Well, we took out all the
No, in the
line.
ITV.
When we took the ceiling tile out of there, there was a lot of electrical. There was a lot of stuff.
That was in the olden days of connected buildings with Coera, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they said Wilson.
Yeah.
And somebody else, Pat was telling us that he used to teach from somewhere, but English, math, special education room are all down this hallway, and then social studies is right there. So these are the blinds that we put in here, and I'd really like to get to the point where we can get these in the entire building. I was pulling the blinds in Brittany's room when we were putting the tile in there, and her blind is backwards, so the cord is against the window, between the window and the blind, so. But these look really nice, and they did a really good job. They're just, you pull them down and then you just push them back up, so, yeah, they look really nice. We had to do something in here because the curtains, when we took them down to replace the tile, they disintegrated on us, so we could not put them back up, so.
So as you're walking through, I know one thing that's hard to see, but these ceiling tiles cuts as you're walking through here.
Take a minute to appreciate.
A lot of the tile was put in, but some of these cuts that they had to come back in and do were, and there's nothing square anywhere.
Right now, we have all of our Chromebooks setting out by class. So on the first day of school, the students will come by class, by grade level, and we'll check out their Chromebooks to them. They have paid their fee for that. And yeah, we did get some new cases. We actually used a grant to purchase some new Chromebooks, and those went, now I'm not gonna remember which grade level they went to. I think they went to 8th graders and 10th graders, if I remember right. So, but I can't remember.
And then some 6th graders as well, because some of our, we split them between Wilson and the elementary school.
Our library aide does a really good job of trying to get the kids engaged in reading, and she offers lots of incentives. We're also going to have a little store for students to be able to purchase pencils and earbuds and stuff this year, just to kind of help with some of the supplies that students never seem to have. Do you want to go to the outbuildings?
Industrial arts and going.
Industrial arts and GOAG are all out.
I'd like to see the art class.
Okay, yeah, let me grab my key real quick. So are these all key card doors?
They are, yes. They are, but they're on a timing system, I think, Kayla, and then like bell periods. They'll open up during bell. Is that right, Miss Murphy? Bell periods, those doors
Yes.
open? Yeah.
Yep, so not the front doors, but these doors are all set on a timer. The students have the 3 minutes between passing periods plus another extra minute.
Thank you, ma'am.
She's gonna give you the document.
Yeah, I hope so.
They all have a card on set.
Thank you, ma'am.
The boiler room is right here, and the art room is also located in the boiler room. I don't know.
Thank you.
So this is our art room. Right now, it seems a small right now, I have one class that has 15 students in it. You can imagine when you get 15 students in here with their art projects, this is something that we'd like to be able to do something with this space. Finding her a little bit. She does a great job with what she's got, and this will be completely full with projects. It looks like.
I believe it is.
Is it hooked up and going?
I am not 100% sure on that. I know it is hooked up. I don't know if they've had the opportunity to do any projects out of it quite yet. It's a beast. No, I know that they have it hooked up. I don't know that they've done any project work out of it yet.
They don't have the control box on it. That's the
Is that it over there?
We hold the students to be like in January and put all of those classes on there, and most of them needed animal science or horticulture classes.
Is that the new one we got? Yeah.
Yep. I thought they said that they had it hooked up already. I'll ask Miss Murphy. Is he watching it on video? There's no what?
No power to it.
There's no power to it yet? All right. Well, it must not be running.
Audio on that thing? Is there audio on there?
It just says chat enabled.
Probably when it disconnected from the wireless.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Murphy, do you know, have they got this up and running at all yet? Okay.
The springtime is a really busy time for FFA stuff, so my guess is she hasn't had too much time to play around with it. So.
So Jeff, that didn't hear, do they have classes on this?
This is where our welding takes place. And then in that classroom that we just went into, that would be where she does her animal science, horticulture, she does the ag leadership class, and agri-science class. So agri-science is kind of an overview of all of the sciences, and she asks us to keep that overview on any other courses in her, that way she may she can look at these. She'll have all the stations set up for with the different welding.
I like their flag.
Hopefully
Wyotech.
they get that hooked up.
Yeah, I thought Courtney said that they had some part of it hooked up, but maybe. I'm not sure.
Things like that would be so glad that we did what we did. A little backlash.
I don't want you to trip over anything. You can see in the dark.
Do you guys want to go over to the industrial arts or?
I've been there.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the industrial?
So this is ag and that's construction. So it's like
Woodworking,
cabinets.
woodworking and metal.
Yeah, and this would be all metal. So, one of the things he would like to, purchase over there is a machine that cuts panel doors. We talked to, I believe, is there a company in Bushton that sells those machines? And we talked to them about, getting somebody to come look and give us an estimate on that. The issue with that is, I guess every single cutter blade is another, cost, and as we were looking at it, it was quite costly, but with that, with the rotating money that we have coming to us every couple of years, is something we could look at for that. We're trying to be as relevant as we can with students, as they maybe go into a college program. We want them to have seen some of the things that maybe they would see if they would go into a program at the college level. We're trying to just be, how this is available to them, so that they aren't going in there and just completely, everything is good.
They're almost done with all these tiles on.
Yeah, it's like one classroom, just like a big open area.
Hey, Miss Murphy, Miss Murphy?
Jess?
Miss Murphy, can we take a tour over by this freezer real fast?
Sure.
You guys want to tromp over here? So one item that we're going to have to work on here in the near future is this walk-in freezer. So the door is leaking around the door, and whenever we had a gentleman, Brian from Ruby's, come out and take a look at it, to replace the door is almost going to be as much as a new unit, and you can see the rust on the front of it. And if you come on this side, it's starting to rust out down towards the bottom as well. You stick your finger in that, the whole thing kind of crumbles. So one thing that we're going to have to work on this year is what we're going to do with our walk-in freezer here, because we're going to have to do something. Whether we just do the door and the surrounding part of the door and not attack the whole thing. Whenever I talked to Brian today, you're not talking about a lot more money just to replace the whole thing rather than just the outskirts of the door. So, but you can kind of see the rust in the side of it as well. So,
Is there a reason couldn't attach it to the building so you don't have to come outside?
I don't know the answer to that.
That would be nice to turn it.
Yeah, so you don't have to go outside.
Make a doorway. Yeah.
Even if we turned it and
Right. So there's a couple options with this, with replacing the door, replacing the seal, replacing the whole thing, the shell without replacing the unit at the top, or just replacing the whole thing. So,
You say,
but I think whenever we were talking about just the door and the doorway there, I think we were right around the $12,000 to $13,000 mark just for that. So, and he thought we were going to be around 20 for the whole shell. So.
Isn't that why we have South Classic?
you might as well just buy a reefer on a trailer, knock the axles off of it, and
Put it out back, yeah.
have a 50-footer.
So you see our blinds, what they look like on the outside of the kitchen area, cafeteria area. So it just looked really nice if we had those on the front of the building rather than the blinds that are out there. But I don't know how long those blinds have been there. They've been there for a while, so.
So if I turn the lights on. So something that Mr. Murphy and I discussed the other day is if it's possible for us to maybe utilize a little bit of this space for some classroom space, possibly pushing in the bleachers and maybe having some tables and chairs set up for, like some PE classes. Right now, Mr. Ryan does not have any space. He begs, borrows, and steals space from other teachers, the cafeteria. He doesn't have a spot of his own. He has a little office in the locker room. So it'd be nice if we could dedicate some space for him and then have a cart for him, that he could just plug his laptop into and be ready to project. He just teaches health once a week, so it's not something that would be a huge, we don't need a ton of space, but it would be nice for him to have a dedicated space. So that was something we visited about. Our locker rooms are in really good shape, but they could use a little bit of sprucing up, so, just some new paint in there. And the coaches, I'm telling you, I have never walked into a boys' locker room that smelled as good as it possibly could. That junior high boys' locker room, Mr. Ryan keeps them in check. They do not, it doesn't stink too bad.
Your heating and cooling gets fixed in.
Yes, so I actually can control the air conditioning on my phone. And now everybody's like, well, it's not cool enough, but yeah, and I don't know if you can feel the fans are on right now. We did have that issue where it was either on heat or on cool, so that has been taken care of. We don't have an issue with that any longer. It will kick off now, so. Our laundry for our sports team is in the boys' locker room, so, that kind of makes it a little bit weird, I think. And then we have a referee room in the girls' locker room. Oh, well, there's a door there, but there's not a door in there. If we have to send a girl in there for towels, there better not be any boys in there, so. All of the locker rooms and bathrooms do have vape detectors in them, and I get a text message, an email if the vape detector goes off. The funny thing is it goes off when there's aggression detected. So every day at volleyball practice, when the balls hit the bleachers, it thinks there's somebody fighting. So I get 15 warnings every single day during volleyball season and basketball season. So. And when they play their music loud, it goes off. So kind of an interesting deal. But a weight room is air conditioned too now, so that's been really nice. We have, I would say probably 60%, well probably more than that. I bet we have 80% of our students are in a PE or a weights class. So we definitely use the weight room.
Is there a separate building, the waiting room?
Nope, it's connected. If you look right here, there's a green door that goes through that green door, and then there's a little breezeway, and there's a metal shed back there, and it's really nice. So the weight room used to actually be up above. They pushed in all the bleachers, and the weights were all up there.
What's it over here? The weight room was on that side.
I think it was on both sides.
Didn't they?
I don't know.
Most of it
Was over there.
Because they just left those pushed in all the time in these.
Okay. I just assumed it was over there because it said Oiler Tower.
Now those bleachers are hardly ever.
Our volleyball fans are going to be very excited this year because it's going to be way much cooler.
Yeah, for sure. It got hot in there.
Yes, we did. So part of our project this summer, when we did our project, we had to take down every single plaque, every single trophy. Well, these I guess we didn't have to, and the state ones we didn't have to, but we had to take a lot down. Tim and I are kind of going through and determining, trying to find spaces where we can put things together. There were some we took down, we don't really know what they were for. One said 1972 first place, but there was nothing else on it. Oh, so we have no idea what it was for. Trying to make sure that what we're putting out there is relevant and not just putting things up. Third place in the forensics invitational. I mean, no year. It just. We don't want to just put things up to put things up. We want to make sure that we're putting relevant stuff back up. So this got redone, and we painted all of this one took a little longer. We painted all the wood that was on the wall to hang the trophy. We had a lot of plaques up in this area as well. But I'm pretty excited. This looks really nice in here. So. And that's kind of it. Do you guys have any questions? We didn't go down this hallway very much. There's the English classroom, and then the business classroom is on the end there, and then Mr. Mitchum's office is on the corner. The business classroom says the Oiler Company on the back, so they make the t-shirts and sell. And then the industrial arts building that we didn't go into, it also has the laser engraving that the kids can do in the graphic technology class. So. Those are two student-led businesses.
I feel like I'm trying to check for start up everything we do.
No, you know what? At this point, it is what it is. I mean, it's not what we have to have done will be done. There will be tile that won't be put in. But honestly, it's cleaner than it will ever be up there. So, there will be some tile that will be put in, but that's in the great scheme of things. We'll be ready for school to start. So, last year we had a stint that we didn't have any water for a while, so tile being out is less concerning than not having water.
Now, if you would have been here a week ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago even. Very much different.
Mr. President, I move that the board during an executive session pursuant to the Kansas Open Meeting Act to discuss non-elected personnel on the topics of substitutes, classified staff, supplemental staff, and certified staff protect the privacy of individuals and return to open session in this room at assistant meeting, please. 8:15 with Superintendent Bob Murphy to be in attendance.
Motion by Josh, second by Allison, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign, motion passes.
Nobody breathe. I can't believe I've done something like that.
Is it facing the wrong way? No, it was hanging off the edge. Is it orange? Wrong. No, it's wrong.
Shay, you just gonna stay in town on board night?
Yeah. I was telling Jess, the rule in our house, we still have this rule, you don't have a phone at the table, and we eat supper at the table every night. Anyway, so then we with the exception of this board meeting, like I said, I was iPad.
Oh, sure.
So then, Taylor, we were talking about living. Wait, you're telling me that people don't wash their hands?
Oh, she said, did you tell me they don't? Or she thinks everybody will. I'll make it there's something controversial.
She probably because that was the only way you can do it. So,
Yeah, this is, yeah, I just think that's my, yeah.
you're telling me.
No, because Scott had a way of looking up how many viewers there were, and sometimes there'd be 200-300 people watching when we had controversial stuff. But now I don't have any now. Well, usually there are quite a few. I don't know how to look that up.
You can look at it on that.
Oh, you can?
It'll tell you on that.
You guys, I have some high school kids that are peeing in parking spots, and one of them just said, one of the people in your meeting must be in my parking spot. Could you ask them to move?
Who was it, me?
It doesn't matter
It
who it
doesn't
is.
matter after school.
Are you kidding me?
That's funny.
Like,
I don't care.
this is the board meeting. Like, I'm sorry, we're gonna need to take a recess, so one of you can go move a car, so the high school student can pee.
BT County 1472, move your car.
Right?
So you can pull up the meeting and you can see how.
Well,
many
you
Yeah,
people-
you can see who else. So this is a current one? What is that to think about? It's new. What is the new one? I always go back to your emails. Get the link.
Well, I had to make Scott send that one to her too, because they were supposed to look it up, and I didn't know which one it is. So Scott just sent me the link.
So I always go back. I always look at, let's see here, link for board meeting. At the bottom, this is the white one. It'll tell you. 8 watching now.
Oh, wow. 8.
Several of my faculty.
They watch, I think several watch it after the fact, so they can.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
And I can fast forward through stuff like
When
this.
we get home, Bobby will, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and he's watching. He's rewatching. I'm like, go to the couch. Is it on? Go to. Oh my gosh.
It's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be. The wind is on.
I do want to highlight our maintenance crew, and I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anybody. Angie, Brent, Becky, Darren, Leslie, Jan, Aaron, Ben, Keegan, Alden, Sierra, that whole crew this summer, in all the buildings, they did an excellent job. Just want to highlight them for what they put in. Just over and beyond expectations on time. To get some of these goals done that we really didn't work hard on. So I want to highlight them and make sure I give them a shout out. Thank you for all the hard work this year. So when we sat down last fall and we talked about the board goals, one was to try to get the asbestos tile out of the high school, and we did accomplish that this year. So out of all the air quality tests that they did in the building to give us the go ahead to move into it, not one asbestos tile was found. Really proud of the work that went into that. Also, one of our goals was to work on the AC and try to get some AC up that we'll send for our kids and our faculty and staff. We did accomplish that, but I want to put an asterisk by that. We could be looking at maybe having to add a couple more units here and there with our electrical capabilities, maybe in the cafeteria, maybe an office or two down the line. So I feel really good about where we're at there with the air conditioning, but we still could have the possibility to add a couple of the hot days and being able to have lunch in the lunchroom. So one of the other items we had down was the space issue at St. Plains Elementary School. And I feel like that's a work in progress right now. And that's something we on the top of this. Once we get that rolling and plan in place from our soliciting bids, I would really like to sit down with you guys again at a separate board meeting just to talk about what our goals are going to be for this next year as far as capital outlay. So we did that around October last year. I would like to do that again. It's time to stop people. Keep pulling away from families, but I feel like we worked really hard. We got some of those big goals accomplished that we really want to get done this year. So I want to keep that going forward. Some items on our radar, I call these our parking lot items. We do, we have talked about the retaining wall on the football field and the fencing in that area. That's something that is on our radar still. We have a modular unit, practice field irrigation tubes on our radar. The watering component that we have out there now is going to cost as much to replace that as it is to put it in the current sprinkler system. It's going to run a lot more efficiently as well. So walk through the district with our coffee machines to see where we're at with OPI for our coffee machines in the district. That's something we need to take a look at, making sure that we're getting on a good rotation for our coffee machines. We have some in 2016, 2019, and 2021. 2021 coffee machines are the newest ones that we have in the district. So we're doing the 16s and the 19s. Whether it's a lease or a purchase, we purchased them in the past, but we can look at making sure that we have a good rotation of those so those don't get to a point where we can't buy them. We're also going to have a conversation about the water heaters in the high school, kind of down the line. I had a little bit of problem with that, but when the school started, we try to tackle some of the hot water heaters here at the high school. And then I added one item on there, just roofs. We're going to have to try to get to the point where we have some of the strong foundation for our roofs all over the place. That's going to be a very, very big project to make sure that we have some kind of recovery for those where they're not. So, just some radar items that I wanted to visit with you guys about that are on our radar that we're still trying to work on moving forward. So, questions, comments, thoughts on anything?
I guess I would just say that not only did capital goals, but one of our goals too, that we did is for future sector was also, we try to add more opportunities at the high school. I feel like that's evident in what you showed in the class schedule and stuff, and really getting work in that so that we have some more strategic offerings. So very impressive, very pleased with the progress that we
please let me know. And then shortly after legislative committee meeting on, I think that next week, Mr. Gordon, Dr. Gordon, and the other advocacy leaders start going around and going on listening tours, and they go to different regions. He's got an invite yesterday or today for region 7, which is ours, and it's at Lloyd's. I can't remember the date, but they had one last year at Great Bend too. So definitely can pass that information on. Anybody who would like to is welcome to go to any of those. They usually invite different representatives from the state house and stuff to come. They're not paying them. September 16th is the meeting. And that kind of goes into our open agenda items, AKA ASB conference, and then appointing a voting delegate. AKA ASB conference, I've done that in the last few years, and I have to be there at that time anyway, since I'm on the legislative committee, so I'm willing to do that again unless somebody else would really want to, but it does usually take away from one of the breakout sessions. Yeah, just let us know what your thought is if you want to. Anything else?
Before the next board meeting, we will have the, items around that we are, opportunity for September 4th for our district audit for the fire use books. We've already uploaded everything that we can upload to them, so they should just be the right thing. And there will just be different things that we couldn't upload, so that would probably be on the October.
I guess just kind of circling back to what Mom said, not only to talk about our capital goals, but also just to make sure that we don't want to update certain general goals. Okay, item number 26, items for next month's agenda.
So we'll have our budget hearing and our LOB resolution. We'll also go over our needs assessments in detail before we make any